Hi guys, welcome to the Recharge 2020 Festival. It's great to see you still standing.
Nice to be here.
We have with us some of Australia's finest food creators, servers, artists, ready to put a fine morsel in your mouth. If you wouldn't mind, could we do a lap and perhaps tell us a little bit about your restaurant, both before this bastard of a virus hit and then what it's become afterwards? Maybe Hannah, could we start with you?
Yeah, hi, I'm Hannah. I have a restaurant in Brunswick East called Etta. And before this, we had a little bar and dining room. And our little bar has now been transformed into a providor bakery and wine shop. A beautiful Chilego marble stone top has been wrapped in plastic as a sneeze guard to protect staff and the food behind it.
That's quite a different aesthetic there.
Yes, yes, it is. And we're also doing some like take-home meals that you finish off at home. So we do the majority of things here in the restaurant. We have a huge fire, which is half smoking things over that. We're still cooking things over that. And just giving you some instructions to finish off at home. And essentially the shop is made up of all the things that in the short time that we were closed, the things that we were missing that we couldn't get access to at the shops, because we have, you know, all these incredible suppliers who have just got surplus of stuff at the moment, whose whole kind of, you know, ordering platform fell over when everyone closed. And so we wanted to kind of still be able to give that to you.
Share the joy.
Be ordering from them as well. Yeah.
Let's go to Chayse and Blayne from O.MY. I noticed they're both drinking beer, so I want them to give their introduction before they get completely smashed. Can you guys talk about what you do?
Yeah, so basically what we were doing before all this is we have a farm that we've started 7 years ago, which we farm all of our own produce. So we don't buy any produce in. And then we build all of our menus for the bar and restaurant simply from what we grow.
Farm to plate, as easy as it can get, right?
Yeah. That and local suppliers of meat and seafood and things like that as well, and try and keep everything within a certain range. That's what we were doing for the bar and restaurant, and a degustation menu in the restaurant and sort of a simpler menu in the bar. And when things have turned over to what it did, we pretty much within about 4 days of closing the restaurant, we started selling vegetable and seafood boxes. So we do about 120 a week of farm boxes and 25 to 30 seafood boxes, and they're filled with about 35 components in the farm boxes, and all fresh fish and other components to go with the fish, and cooking methods and guides, and yeah, so people are taking them home and cooking with them.
Yeah, so we moved all the tables out of the dining room and put all the trestle tables in now, and it's a bit of a different.
It's a production. It's a factory. It's a production factory now.
It's more a factory again. Very different sort of vibe. It reminds me more of like a World War hospital from what you're describing.
It does actually.
So that's what we've turned into now, and we've had great local support, which we've always had here anyway. So they've all sort of got behind us, and
the folks in Beaconsfield, right? That's where you're
yeah.
Beaconsfield, just near Mordor.
We have another face that you might recognise, a familiar face of Adrian Richardson. Richo, how are things going for you? Can you talk a little bit about your restaurants and what they've become?
Well, as you know, I've had La Luna Bistro for 22 years, and it's been flat out just about every day and every year, up until about 6 weeks ago, where the handbrake came on. And I've also got Bouvier Bar, which is in East Brunswick, and we've got the events centre upstairs. And I also have another venue in Williamstown, which I share with the Victorian Motor Yacht Club, where we've been doing a lot of events and weddings and things. And
oh, you own Melbourne, Richo.
Oh, not quite. There's a couple of guys bigger than me, but I'm working on it. So we had a lot of things planned and a lot of things going on. The Food and Wine Festival was coming along. So we were gearing up for a really serious amount of business that was coming. And unfortunately, the handbrake came on and it all stopped. We shut the place down. And so I had to think quickly because I don't know if you know, I dry age a lot of meat. I have about 2,000 kilos of beef hanging on the bone. I buy whole argies in. So I had all this meat and it's at its peak, you know, once it gets to its peak, it starts to go downhill. So I had to think about how I could move it on. So we set up our own little Richo's online deli, which is almost like a butchery shop where people come in and buy our dry aged meat that's been aged on the bone. Victorian grass-fed beef aged on the bone for 8 weeks and then broken down with our butcher. And so you're able to buy this and take it home, as well as some pre-made goods. And we put together on Mother's Day, we put together a package so you could just come and pick up for 6 people, everything, you know, all our small goods, smoked salmon that's smoked on the house, you know, and you had a chicken roast or a beef roast and some dessert, some potatoes, and a whole lot of things that you could do. But I think what it is as restaurateurs, as food providers, we're having to think outside the square. We've got all this food, we've got all this ability, we've got the venues, we have to be able to make something. And I think we're all workaholics as well. So we have to do something to make it all happen.
How does this change in things compare to the level of business that you once had? Like, are these delis and takeaway initiatives, you know, are you able to tread water?
Well, I'm going to ask for some tissues because I'm about to burst into tears. So really, I mean,
I shouldn't laugh.
Yeah, no, the business has basically dropped off to virtually nothing. I mean, we were doing a substantial business, so it's dropped off. But you know, once I initially got over the depression and the you know, and finished off a case of vodka, you sort of have to get up. And I think the other guys will probably agree with it. You can either be miserable and bury yourself in the sand, or you can get up and say, hang on a second, we can do something here. Let's at least do something and make some business, cook some food, and keep ourselves busy to keep our brains, you know, switched on and in a positive place.
You guys in food services are known for your long hours and hard work. It's great that, if for nothing else, you guys are blinkering yourself. What about your other guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think now more than ever, I have really felt, and I think it'd be much for the other guys as well, like, we are a part of a community, and it's pretty amazing. And I mean, that's how this kind of came about as well. And it's been the thing that's kind of been keeping me going, has been seeing everyone's smiling faces, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good to have you back. And it is that treading water. It's definitely not the income stream that it used to be, and we're an industry built on pretty thin margins anyway. And with the government support that we have at the moment, it's just being able to keep the doors open, keep our staff employed, and be a part of our community and be present. That's probably my biggest driving force at the moment, as well as keeping our suppliers going. Like, you know, for me, the thing that I told my staff first that we were going to close. Well, we made the decision together that we we're going to close. And then my first port of call after that was my suppliers, and like settling their bills and making sure that they knew that I was in for the long run, because the thing that breaks my heart is some people probably won't come out the other side of this. And not only have they lost all their business, they've still got, you know, trading terms that haven't been paid for yet. So
because there are lots of links in the chain that go towards a plate of food in a restaurant, hey, especially, you know, in the cold hard streets of Brunswick. But in Beaconsfield, perhaps it's a different story. Are you guys like those sort of you've got your own bunker, you're off the grid there at O.MY in Beaconsfield, you've got your own farm, you're sorted, you can survive and tread water for as long as you like. Is that a fantasy?
Blayne came into work one morning and he had this big A3 piece of paper. And I know when he's had that out, he hasn't slept and he's been making ideas all night. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And he goes, there's this virus thing that's happening and we really need to take it seriously. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? So he came up with this farm box idea 6 weeks before we shut down. And it was just sort of like this is just in case we shut down. So we started moving the farm production around a little bit. We started building the boxes. And by the time we got the big tick saying you can't open, we were ready to do the farm boxes straight away. And I think like for the last however long we've been, 7 years almost, we've been relying on our farm to sort of keep us going and keep everything interesting. The farm's finally working for us. It's like, it's really nestled ourselves in there, and we've got chefs down there every day. We've got all the front of house and all of our staff. We've kept everyone employed, so we haven't let go of anyone at all, which has been, that's 15 people that work here, maybe a bit more. And we've been able to keep everyone on, but everyone's just doing different jobs. All the front of house are now prep chefs, and it's a really interesting way of doing now 9 to 5 instead of 9 to 1 a.m. So,
and we still are sort of really, it is still very tight on the money side of things. Like
overheads are still huge.
Yeah, we've still got overheads, and
we got rent relief from our landlord, which was really great. They came to us, we didn't go to them, which was sort of a good sign.
Lucky.
And it's just sort of every single week you have to adjust and pretty much start your ideas fresh again, because you can't just, every week's different at the moment.
Well, last week they announced that they were going to try and sort of get more jobs back open, and our farm boxes were sort of like a pretty raw at the start, so there was a lot of just raw uncooked stuff that we just harvested, washed and put together, and there's a lot of pantry items as well that we make. But now over the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've sort of adjusted it to be more easier to cook at home, faster to cook at home, so that people don't have to work very hard on it. So each week we're adjusting based on the sort of confidence we're picking up from people around the area or what we see on the news. So
one thing I will say is we don't want to make it too good for them at home. We still want them to come out to us. When it's going to be good for them, but they're going to be hankering for real professional stuff. So just take it easy there, boys.
Is that a worry? Is that a worry for you guys?
Yeah, we want them to stress in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Good. Is it actually a worry? You know, there's a lot of talk. This pandemic will change people's habits and culture. Is there a worry that people are going to get used to cooking at home, Netflix and chilling? You know, is there a worry that people won't want to come back out?
Well, I think in Melbourne and Australians, they love to eat out. I think there will always be that culture. Will it change? You know, will we be restricted by the amount of people and the space? That will affect the business a lot. I mean, if you normally do 100 people, the margins are quite fine. You need to have 100 people coming through the place. But if you can only have 50, well, then you can't make your money on it. So that's where you have to think about different ways. So, I mean, I feel like I'm just waiting every day, every week for some more information, some more news about what we will, that the life we'll be living in the future. But one thing I will have to say is that actually having nights off and working 9 to 5 and actually having weekends off, most of the weekends off, it's been a revelation for me. For 20 years, I've been working nights and dinners and eating, back, where the bins are and stuff. It's actually been, this is what normal people live. I want a piece of this, maybe this is this great thing,
Yeah.
You've got to meet your family for the first time ever.
I have 3 teenage sons. I didn't even know that.
This festival that we're involved in here today, all Sunday, is celebrating the best of Victoria and Victorian produce. Why have we got it so good here? Who wants to take it? Why is our produce so good?
I mean, we've got so much great weather packed into one small state. We've got great soil. We've got great people. We've got that, a lot of multicultural people coming into Melbourne and Victoria. I think it's just, we've got it all here. And we've got the weather. And I think because we aren't as warm as other states, people venture indoors, and to go to a restaurant or a bar, that's what we like doing. So that's what I think it's about.
Anyone else got any theories on why Victorian produce is as world class as it is?
Oh, I think we've got a bit. We've based on the people we know out here as well. We know a lot of small scale. We've sort of aligned ourselves with a lot of small scale producers. So these people are super passionate about what they do, just like we are with what we do. So that's been something else as well. I think there's just something about the way we go about it in Australia and Victoria and so on. But everyone has actually found a passion for what they do, and then when you connect with a farmer or producer with a chef who's also really passionate in a restaurant, and then you create something together, and
it's magical.
Yeah, it is, and so it drives us all forward. So we all keep going in that direction. So it's we have got amazing things happening.
Hannah, have you got any thoughts on this? The teas in the background there are looking pretty good to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, even, Vinnisley, you go kind of any direction out of Melbourne and within an hour you're in a pretty incredible wine region. And so, I mean, definitely grapes are a form of agriculture. So, and I mean, I think we can convey that. We have so many people, so many winemakers. I had someone here this morning, because we haven't been able to see each other, showing me her new release wine. And I mean, I've even had Chayse come and show me things from out his way.
Between windows.
A winery he's now living on. So, it's, I think that sense of connection.
Which is
Sorry, say that again, Chayse.
very dangerous living on a winery during lockdown.
I could not think.
For me either.
Like, it's just been filling flagons, like actual flagons of wine from the tank, and just drinking that for dinner. I feel like a Roman.
Self-medicating is what a lot of people are doing at the moment. To get through this, there's sort of there's a sense of righteousness to when I pour myself a whiskey at 11 a.m. Just to get through. Now, we have a bunch of professionals here, and a lot of people are for the first time cooking sourdough. They're making homemade pasta. They're cooking braised ribs for the first time. My Instagram feed is littered with it. I'm just wondering, before I leave you to your social distancing once again, whether you've got a little tip for how people might improve their own home cooking without giving too many trade secrets away.
I'm going to leave that to the chefs.
I'll weigh in here. Keep it simple. There's some great recipes. YouTube's a great resource. It's fun to actually watch people cook simple dishes and then replicate them. You can start them. Lots of fresh herbs, a little squeeze of lemon juice, using salt. And Henry, you know this one, salt loves meat, meat loves salt. Plenty of salt on your meat, because they're not going to want it on their vegetables. No one eats the vegetables anyway. It's all about the meat. So there's plenty of stuff on there for you. Got what I mean.
Chayse, Blayne, besides flagons of wine?
Yeah, well, the key to it is, if you have a glass of wine or two while you're cooking, it makes everything better. Like the end result, everything. But
Hannah, surely you can jump on board there.
Surely that's common knowledge.
The more I drink, the worse I get in the kitchen.
No, it gets better. It gets better. Well, it's only your opinion at the end of the day. So if you're half cut and you eat your meal, it's fine. Like
I've got a feeling that if we had held this meeting an hour or so later, we'd all be sozzled. I just get that feeling. Yeah.
Sozzeled's a good word. I wouldn't have used that, but sozzled.
Keep it simple. Exactly. You nailed everything. Exactly what Adrian said. That's keep it real simple. Add a lot of salt and fat, lemon juice. Salt, fat, lemon juice. That's my life. But that on everything. So
leads to a better sleep too. Hannah, you are a fine purveyor and curator of your business. Any tips to perhaps sourcing or what you do on a Sunday at a farmer's market? What would you be looking for?
We're so lucky that we get to work with like really small local farms not far from here. So, I mean, I haven't been to a farmer's market for ages, but
they come to you.
I would talk to them and say, what's good at the moment? That's how we've stocked the shop, essentially, and kind of hand in hand with what you're having. Get your protein, if you are having some protein, and say, hey, what's good?
Just consult the experts that are pulling stuff out of the ground. We're good at it here. One last question. How much does the seasonal produce and the produce you actually get impact the menus you offer at your respective restaurants?
Oh, hugely. Like, without a doubt. Everything is about seasonality. And I mean, I think the boys at O.MY, your whole restaurant revolves around it because you don't grow something that's not in season.
He changes the menu halfway through service.
When you run out of something.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he just changes his mind all the time.
Yeah. No, it is. Well, for us, it's everything. And it's great to see the rest of the industry in Melbourne, Australia, all sort of pushing in that direction as well, where we're all trying, because it only benefits small business farms, small market farmers, everyone, if we all stick to a seasonal, sort of try to stick to seasonal cooking. It benefits everyone. And that's all we're trying to do here, is just work on a small area, work with what we've got, and work with seasonal, exactly in like true in-season stuff. So that means 3-week window of figs. You have figs on the menu for 3 weeks, and then you don't have figs on the menu after that. And that's the kind of thing we're trying to encourage for people, because they also get to eat like that at home. And that's just how it should be in our attitude. Yeah.
Richo, how seasonal the cows get?
Well, I'm pretty lucky. I mean, I do a lot of meat, and that's a big part of what I do. And, it doesn't matter whether it's blowing a gale outside or it's, 35 degrees. I can walk out into the field, put a bullet in someone's head and rack it up, cut it up into little pieces and grill it on the grill. So I'm pretty lucky in that respect. But in saying there is a lot of seasonal stuff around. People tend to eat more seafood. I know. Look, it's an animal. You got to kill it to eat it, don't you? I mean, it's against the law to eat a live animal. So I would recommend that if you do want to eat the meat, just knock it first. Do it humanely. That's the best way to do. Wring its neck, whatever you want to do. We're going to have all the vegans, protesting my restaurant again, but it's okay. I'm used to it.
There's no way this is making the edit, Richo. This is a secret behind the scenes.
It's the brutal truth. If you think meat comes from a fluffy little plant, you're wrong. You don't deserve to be eating meat. But you can eat meat all year round, and that's the beautiful thing. But it is the seasonal aspect of it. It's what asparagus is only around at the end of the year. At the beginning, January, February, so that's when you eat that, and then you move on to the braises and the other vegetables and things later on. That's the way it works. Oh, there's a phone call coming in. There we go. It's gone.
You're a busy man, and in fact, in that spirit, I won't keep you. I know all of you have got some packing and wrapping for all of your industrious deli and takeaway home.
And killing.
And a little bit of loading the rifle on behalf of Richo. But all of you, there'll be links on our deliveredlive.com.au page to all of your respective deli and initiatives in this COVID-19 era. Thank you so much, Chayse and Blayne, Hannah and Richo. Go to O.MY, go to Etta, go to La Luna and the various other properties that Richo's killing things at. And I look forward to seeing you all when I actually am allowed to give you all a hug. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you.